Game of Thrones, Episode 5. This is just where the series went totally off the rails for me. Everything before now, I had my complaints with earlier episodes in this season, like the Battle for Winterfell, but this one was where the writers just obviously had no clue what they were doing. Just made a complete mess of all the storylines, of everything leading up to this. Really damages, like, rewatching the series, knowing that this is where it ends up, where there's just, I mean, damn. I was expecting, like, big grand battles, good duels, good single combat between, like, Jon Snow and different people in the Golden Company, or anything resembling Battle of the Bastards or Watchers on the Wall. And it was just shock therapy, just like shock and awe, subvert your expectations, all that BS. Like, one dragon now suddenly can destroy all of King's Landing, all the scorpions, all millions of them, positioned all around the city, all in the harbor, that just in the last episode, gunned down Rhaegal like he's a fucking turkey on Thanksgiving. Now can't hit the broadside of a barn while Drogon destroys the entire city, destroys the entire fleet in seconds, pretty much, in minutes. I heard someone else say the entire battle until the bells rang, signaling surrender, lasted 7.5 minutes. That's it. It's like the show isn't about showing like good combat, good battles, like quality storylines playing out anymore. You see how they always cut away from everything now? Like, it's like, oh, the Hound and the Mountain are getting into their final battle. Better cut away right before like the first blow is struck, just to keep the audience in suspense. And it's like, they would never have done that in season 1. Remember, like, when Jaime faced Ned Stark in the streets there? It wasn't any cutting away of that. That was like quality cinematography. They let the whole duel, the whole combat play out, and you could see how the two people like were struggling back and forth, and like you're rooting for one or the other, and it's dramatic. You can like connect with it and everything. But for me, when the camera, when they do this jump cut stuff of like just jumping away, quick cut, like leave you in suspense. Oh, we don't know what's gonna happen. You don't know if someone's gonna die. It just completely disconnects you from the scene and like doesn't let you get into it. Doesn't let me get into it and really experience, the drama and really let it be moving. So Cersei turning bad, turning Mad Queen and all, I'm not against that at all. I think that's actually kind of cool, but they really rushed it. They really rushed her just suddenly becoming, this, sorry, I'm holding my phone here. I gotta, becoming this villain, in the course of like 1.5 episodes. They went from her being the savior and everything to like that little awkward scene with Gendry in the last episode, and a couple other scenes, I think, with her and Jon, or Aegon Targaryen, the 6th of his name, apparently. Suddenly becoming unraveled, and for no apparent reason wanting to murder the entire innocent population of King's Landing. I'm not understanding that at all. I was watching this episode and really just kind of disgusted. I was unhappy with Winterfell, definitely. Really unhappy with the way the Night King died, and just like no payoff there. All the seasons of the White Walkers being the ultimate enemy, is gonna destroy all of mankind and everything, all just taken care of in one episode, in one little battle, taken care of by fucking Arya, who somehow, I guess this isn't about the third episode, but still, her just magically getting by the entire White Walker fucking army and being able to jump on the back of the Night King and then pull a knife trick and kill him and wipe out the entire... It's like, where the fuck does that come from? It doesn't make any sense at all. It seems like the writers are really just interested in shocking the audience and thinking like that's what the series was all about, like with the Red Wedding and the killing of Ned Stark and, all the big sort of surprising things that have happened in this series. But that's not what the show's about. There's a lot of story that leads into that makes it like interesting, that makes it like thought out, that makes it the things that happen before then, there's like reasons for why these things happen that make sense, not like Daenerys just like flipping a switch for barely any reason and deciding to basically be an evil person. Like, so Jon won't have sex with her, Jon won't have be in a relationship with her, and she loses the Missandei, and now suddenly she's just unhinged and ready to kill everyone in the entire world for ultimate power. I don't know. That doesn't... I could have used a little bit more like background filler there to help me be convinced of why she did this. Anyways, but there's a million subjects to go over with all this. The Golden Company, I was excited about the Golden Company. I was excited to see them in action. They were kind of like built up, mysteriously talked about in the previous seasons, and especially the elephants, which we got totally fucking shit caked out of. I was really excited to see the elephants fighting for Cersei and all this, and big battle scenes and all that. No, none of that. And no, none of actually even being able to see the fucking Golden Company in combat do anything. You can get to see them do anything at all. All you got to see them was get burnt to a crisp by Drogon, who magically flew through the entire fucking city and blew down the gate with his fire and then completely washed them with the Golden Company with flames, apparently killing every single one of them. With the numerous scorpions all over the walls, everywhere, couldn't land a single shot on Drogon. Everyone was saying before this show that, like, there's nothing you can do with the dragons now, with the dragon now in this episode. We were obviously shown by the previous episodes that, like, these scorpions are way too powerful, and there's way too many of them, that you can't, the dragon basically can't be used on King's Landing. Drogon's gonna be shot down, he's gonna be killed. No, just suddenly, magically, out of nowhere, he can fly in such a agile and fast and deceptive and erratic manner to avoid the what in the last episode were like semi-automatic rifle scorpion bolts being fired in the air with pinpoint accuracy. Suddenly now are true medieval weapons. In the course of one episode, we had a complete shift from these ridiculous, like, quick loading, firing, swiveling on a pivot on a mount, can hit anything in the sky scorpions, to like these really slow to load, like, obsolescent machines that can't hit shit and, you know, like, are legitimate old school siege weapons that, you know, wouldn't be good for shooting dragons down, which is what they were in history. They were like, you know, big, huge, lumbering siege weapons to launch bolts into a field of troops or over city walls or something, not to shoot airborne targets out of the air like you're fucking skeet shooting, you know. But, you know, just that switch from one episode to the next is the craziness that, and the inconsistency that really bothers me. So anyways, for these points and for several more, like, this is like the episode that really, I mean, legitimately, like, ends Game of Thrones to me. I mean, I feel like the whole thing is like bastardized now. I mean, the first like 4, 5, 6 seasons or so were good, and then I was still hanging on for like season 5, 6, and 7, and I was still pleased. I was still like amped about what was gonna happen, about like the climactic battles and all this stuff. And then just like in this episode, it just comes crumbling down, man. Like, there's nothing left. Like, they just completely fucked all the storylines. Jaime Lannister, no final battle, no final dramatic anything. Some half shit fucking duel with Euron that, I mean, was nothing, man. I mean, again, with the jump cuts. You know, the duel starts, we got to jump away to Arya running through the fucking streets or something. You know, we can't even get to see the full legitimate battle between Jaime and Euron, which, I mean, I don't really prefer that to be the way he goes out or the way Euron goes out or whatever, but if we're gonna have it, let's fucking have it. Let's have a good duel. Let's have good combat, you know. And instead, we get like this jump cut situation, shitty moves, shitty fencing, and all that. And again, like nonsensical. Euron stabs him once with his dagger and then falls back to the ground. It's like nothing just makes sense anymore, you know. Like, why wouldn't he have, you know, popped him a good couple times, you know, back in the neck and the head and the, like, you know, why would he just do once and let him live? And then, you know, let him go get the fucking sword and then just do him once again, just once, you know, and then you know, and then Jaime turns around and shanks him through the middle there with the big sword. And then that ridiculous, like, fourth wall break by Euron being like, I'm the man that killed Jaime Lannister forever. It's like, what the fuck? I mean, this show has, like, went completely downhill. And, dude, like, I was okay with season 7. It was pretty good in my eyes. I mean, at least we didn't necessarily get the big payoff that we wanted, but at least, like, we had something to look forward to. Like, we still got season 8, man. We're still building towards that. And then just shit laying an egg this season. I mean, no payoffs, no big battles, no good single combat situations like we got to see in past seasons, like between Brienne and the Hound. I mean, that combat was awesome. Between the Hound and Beric Dondarrion in the cave with the fire sword, where he nearly cuts him in half at the end. That was awesome. Jaime and Ned Stark, Jon Snow in Watchers on the Wall or Battle of the Bastards. Lots of really good, like, emotional based, you know, heart based combat where, like, you know, you feel your emotions rising and falling within the battles, like rooting for, you know, you don't know who's gonna live or die, and you feel like, you know, that connection to the fucking story and all that. None of that. None in the entirety of season 8, which is supposed to be like the climactic season. all these main